Well, hello back, people that couldn't get enough about Orange. Some of you, I mean, really, if you made it this far in the Orange series, this is video number 9, and you've watched all of them in completion, because you're nuts, please post below, been there, done that. Or something like this. Just let me know, I don't know. Just, or couldn't get enough of Orange. Some indication that you've watched it all, because you should get a prize. I mean, you're not gonna get a prize, okay? Fuck that. But you should. So, we've looked at the unboxing and how Orange delivers these 6 amps. We've looked at all tracks in one big video. And then we looked at the OR15, the Dual Terror, the 8030 TCH, the Rockerverb 50 Mark III, Dual Dark 100, and Custom Shop 50. Yes, I know the names now. Wow. Now, let's sum it up. What have I learned about Orange? What have you learned about Orange? What are the differences? If you're in the market for an Orange amp because you like the general sound, which has its own thing, then you might want to know, but which one is it? Because really going to a store and testing them, first of all, a store would have to have all of them there. I know that Musikproduktiv and Ibn Büren, if you're in Germany, might have them there. Obviously, a store probably like Sweetwater, Thomann has them there, except for the Custom Shop 50. But you also need a system where you do A/B switching, right, like my AMPETE system, which is, let's see, amp wall, please. My AMPETE system, where I can actually do A/B comparison without recabling something, which is a great system to have. So, it's right there. Let me help you put some clarity on it. We're gonna go from low budget to high budget, and then we're actually gonna do some comparisons. So if you really want to listen to that stuff and really hear them back to back, that's gonna happen later. I made a very professional kind of checklist here on this Amazon thing. I never write anything down, but hey, I'm prepared. At least I'm this prepared, okay? What have I learned about Orange? Well, clean's not their thing, okay? They don't do clean extremely well. The approach is more, I take a channel, and that channel has the full range from clean-esque to super high gain. Even if they give you 2 channels, like in the Dual Terror 8030 TCH. Both channels are from low gain to super high gain, or from low gain to high. It's not like here's a clean channel and here's a distorted channel. It's pretty much here's 2 distorted channels, and they can also kind of do clean, but not, it's not the idea here. So yes, you can drive these amps in the lower gain modes, but the whole idea is not, we make amazing clean amps. That's not what Orange is about. With the exception of the Rockerverb 50, which has a dedicated clean channel, and the one that's not in this lineup, the Rocker 32, which is a stereo combo, those have dedicated clean channels, and they're actually pretty damn good. Rockerverb 50 has a great clean channel. But the others don't, and you wouldn't get them if you're looking for a killer clean channel. What also defines these amps, I think, is to be relatively lean in the low end, which makes them perfect to be used right in a recording situation, right in a band context where they just fit in, because they don't blow away the low end. They don't kill your bass player, they don't kill your bass drum, they leave room for them. So what we might consider thinnish, maybe even tinny, fizzy, when it comes to the higher gain sound, in moving everything in the higher spectrum, I don't know how to describe it, is actually a benefit in a realistic musical situation. Now, the Dual Dark sits apart because the Dual Dark has that massive low end. Once you go to the Dual Dark, all of a sudden, whoa, it's hefty, plumper. You know? So clean's not their strong suit. Can be clean, but then again, you have the OR15. It's a 1-channel amp. you're gonna waste that amp on a clean sound. In a live situation, you're gonna run there and dial it in, and in between songs go. That's me running. I don't know. A Custom Shop 50, same deal. It's a one-channel amp. Everything about Orange is, let's reduce it to the bare minimum, but make that pretty damn good. Not a lot of switching functions. There's no bright switches. There's no fat switches. There's no voicing switches. In the backs, there's no MIDI. There's barely effects loops. Rockerverb 50, OR15, and Dual Dark have effects loops, which mean the Custom Shop 50, the 8030 TCH, and Dual Terra, I'm getting good at this shit, don't have effects loops. None! So, we're talking about absolute reduction and focusing on what matters, which is giving you an orange sound. Which can mean a lot of gain. So, we talked about cleans, we talked about functionality, which is reduced to a bare minimum. Two of them, which is very cool, have attenuators, which is the Rockerverb 50 clocking in at $2,000, and the Dual Dark clocking in at over $2,000. Now that is cool because they're very loud amps, and you can actually drive the power amp and then use the attenuator right on the front to dial it down to have that sound, but at a reduced volume. Great, great feature. Absolutely lovely, as the Brits would say. Now, something I don't like is, let's go to the amp wall. Any of you, raise your hand if you can read the settings on the Soldano. Yes, you can. Any of you, can you read the settings on the Carl Martin? Yes, you can. You could even read the smaller knobs on that Joyo head to the right. You could even read, if you're lucky, the settings on the Joyo on the black one to the right. Actually, all three Joyos. The Engel you can read, the Igniter you could read from where you're sitting, the Black Hearts. Well, the Laboga, you're shit out of luck. The Houston Kettners, you're shit out of luck. Now tell me the settings on the oranges. That's correct. You pretty much cannot. And back to me. You cannot read the settings because Orange has these very iconic knobs. These knobs are orange. You look at an amp, I mean, look at the Custom Shop 50 up there. Wait, here. That is so damn cool. Huge amp with huge knobs. Phil X would love that. He likes huge knobs. And that's cool. That defines these amps. You see them and in a millisecond you know it's an Orange. On the other hand, they give it this tiny, tiny white dot. Even on this pedal that I'm holding into a 4K camera, you'd be hard pressed to tell me how it's set. Now, while I was editing the videos, I had a 4K camera sitting 30 centimeters in front of the amp. And still, some of the settings were hidden because the knob was on the side. And depending on how it was set, the camera couldn't see that white dot. That is not something I want to trust on and depend on in a live situation. Absolutely not. I'm playing, I'm standing there looking over to my Orange amp. I have no fucking clue. Where's my gain set? Where's my volume set? The visual feedback is not happening. So I love the iconic knobs and that it's immediately recognizable. I don't like the functionality of them. I don't think Orange can do anything about this because if you change what knob you use, it's not an Orange amp. If you put a big, big line on it, it doesn't look cool. So it'll just have to stay inconvenient, I guess. But just be aware of that. Foot switches. These amps are foot switchable. None of them come with a foot switch. Amp for 2,000 something bucks doesn't come with a foot switch. On the Rockerverb 50 Mark III, it's 2,000 bucks. You can switch the reverb on and off. You can switch the attenuator, which is foot switchable, which is great. And you can switch channel A, B, or 1, 2, or whatever you call them. And no foot switch included. Yes, you can use any foot switch. They're just normal switch inputs in the back. But come on. I mean, that foot switches are not expensive to produce. Really, that's like it's a very simple thing. That not to be included, I don't like that. I'm sorry. And I really hope that all the sales guys in all the stores across the world know that. Because when you're at the store, you're buying this amp, and I hope the sales guy tells you, by the way, careful. No foot switch included. Let me sell you a foot switch. Some generic one. So that you don't unbox it at home. You're like, oh man, I gotta go back home to the store. That shit bugs me, okay? So, well, let's talk about the front panels, which is, I was never sure, do I like the pictograms? Is that practical? Yes, it's totally practical. Leslie earlier helped me dial in the gain settings for all amps when I was doing the comparisons. And she's like, oh, wait, the squiggly line? Okay, the squiggly line. And she goes to the squiggly line. It'll take you 3 minutes to learn the graphics, and that's it. And then from that point on, it's always your amp with those graphics. Now, Orange is on the fence about it, apparently. Some amps have only graphics. Some amps have graphics and description, which is then, of course, making the front panel pretty crowded, and that whole beautiful simplicity of the amp gets lost. And then on the 2-channel amps, they put a white bar on top of it. Section A, Section B, or whatever you call it. Now that just makes the amps very crowded. Let's go to the amp wall. If you're looking at the Dual Terror, that has descriptions, pictograms, and those 2 white bars. For me, a little bit much. Now super reduced, the Custom Shop 50 and the OR15. OR15, Custom Shop 50. Super reduced, only pictograms. Bless you, Leslie. Totally works. Same thing on the Rockerverb 50. Only pictograms, totally works. Now on the right here, on the Dual Dark. Excuse me? We're filming here. I'm gonna turn your mic down. That's what I'm gonna do. And Gesundheit. Now, on the Dual Dark, what is it? Dual Dark. That's a lot of stuff. That's pictograms, descriptions, and again, those 2 white bars. The beautiful simplicity gets lost. And back to me. I think, stick to your guns. Fuck what everyone's saying. Whoa, we want description. No. Stick with your original idea, Orange. Give us the pictograms, nothing else. It's beautiful. It's simple. It screams simplicity. Don't let the haters talk you into compromising what you do. Or don't listen to me. Do whatever you want. So, I have a list here. Foot switches, the lean attenuators. I like the attenuators on those 2 amps. Features, clean knobs. What else? Now, which one did I like the most? Whoa. Very difficult. When I recorded the tracks early on in this process of finding the Orange sound, I really enjoyed the OR15 because it had a wide range with that 1 channel. And it was just fun to play. Beautiful, like rocky lead sound. I really enjoyed recording that track with the OR15, which is the cheapest of the bunch for €666 as of the filming of this video today. The Custom Shop 50 was the other one I really enjoyed. It's vintage voiced. It's not super fat. It doesn't have major gain. It doesn't have the big high gain. I like it in Class A versus Class AB. That's where it opens up, gets more trebly. I very much like that. And in the produced track, I also really enjoyed the Custom Shop 50. Now, in terms of pure flexibility, the one I would probably pick is the Rockerverb 50. It's got a beautiful reverb built in. That attenuator is great if you actually want to push it, but then use it in rehearsal or on stage realistically and practically. It has the best clean channel of all of them because it's the only one that actually has a clean channel. And the drive channel is the most, it's very, very flexible from very low gain to super high gain. But it is also the most sterile sounding of them when it comes to that drive channel. It's very on point. It's very precise. It's very cleaned up. Now, the Custom Shop 50 has some dirt and grit and soul. The 8030 TCH doesn't have a lot of gain, but it has dirt. It's a little bit more alive than the Rockerverb 50. So yes, I would pick the Rockerverb 50 if I needed the range of sounds. So OR15, bang for the buck, gives you the orange sound, not very loud, it's 15 watts. Can you gig with it? I don't know, but OR15 for giving you what orange stands for in a small package with FX loop, which is very important for me, I think. No, I don't think that it's important for you. I think it is very important. That's what I'm trying to say. For me. That's it. I think the OR15 gives you the orange sound. If you don't need to gig or don't need the volume, that's the one to get. If you like the finer things in life, the Custom Shop 50 without the gain range. If you need flexibility and power and a good clean channel for pedals, Rockerverb 50. Now, that leaves three that for me are further down. Dual Terror. Let me see if I got the email by now. Nope. I called Charlie earlier. What? I called Charlie earlier and said, can you tell me what the difference is between the two channels? The Tiny Terror channel and the Fat channel? Because I really could only hear a tiny bit of difference in the low mids, where the Tiny Terror channel had a little bit more. So, I haven't gotten an email yet. So, too late, Orange! So, it's not super flexible. It's a dirt amp. Because of that tone knob and not a real EQ or a 3-band EQ, you couldn't really meddle with it, even though it might have the gain range. You can't really dial in those sounds precisely. So it's a good dirt amp. It's two dirt channels, set up one slightly dirty and one really dirty, and that's it. With 30 watts you can gig. That's a great amp for that. In a nice bag. Yes, you can gig with it. All good. But it's two dirt channels. So for me, But again, 700 something bucks or maybe 800 bucks, 30 watts, power scaling, that, no effects loop. Okay. Now, if you want that, with a little bit less gain, but just more open sounding and a better amp, the 8030 TCH is exactly that. Not a shit ton of gain, but it's two dirt channels, and it's two pretty damn good dirt channels. It's a classic rock monster. But because it's just all dirt, they wouldn't be my choice. If that's what you need, if that's what you're looking for, killer. Go for it. Similar thing for the Dual Dark. It's dark, it's fat, it's hefty, plump hair. You know, it's a big amp, and the sounds are that. Two channels, both of them pretty much meant for gain. One of them has a 3-band EQ, the other one has that shape feature, which means you can set them up differently, even though they might sound similar. But for my taste, those three amps wouldn't be my choice. Again, if you are the metal guy, you need to break down walls, the Dual Dark is it. Dirt, you've got the two, the Dual Terror and the 8030 TCH. For flexibility, Rockerverb. For the orange sound with one channel, OR15, or the orange sound in the refined one, the Custom Shop 50. So, wow, I think that's kind of it. Now we're gonna go into some sounds. We're gonna hear all 6 amps in succession. I added a 7th, which is the Rev Generator 740. Go to the amp wall, Leslie. Right there. Just to cleanse your palate. Thank you. Just to throw something in that's not an orange amp. So we can actually hear, okay, because what sounds like a rev. How much does it help us? At least we're comparing it to something else, because orange has its own sound. So we have something at the end, kind of like to ground us. Let's call it that. So clean sounds with a Nick Johnston Schecter traditional single coil Strat style guitar. Go! And now we're going to take that clean setting that you just heard, and we're putting a KHDK Groove Screamer in front of it to see if it handles pedals. That's a tube screamer type circuit. So let's see, same guitar, Strat style guitar with that clean setting with this pedal. Go! Took my PRS, what's that thing called? Modern Eagle 2, and did some nice crunch sound. Leslie helped me set up all the amps to give us a nice crunch. And nothing else, just straight into the amps. And go. gonna take exactly that crunch sound and put this KHDK Scuzzbox fuzz in front of it, because fuzzes like to be put in front of crunchy sounds. Let's see how the amps handle that one. Have you had enough yet? If not, here's more. Now we set up a kind of like high gainy rock sound. Not a metal, but like a rock thing. Really just having some fun time riffing. Let's see how the amps do that. We're already getting into the point where some of the amps are at the end of what the gain can do. Now we all want to know which ones can do metal and which ones cannot. So on some amps we completely maxed out the gain, like on the Custom Shop 50 or the Dual Terra and the 8030 TCH. Played with my famous master build Pantera 2. Let's see which ones can metal and which ones, you know, don't have it. very end of this, let's do a little lead thing and see how they compress and how they handle lead lines. Again, no effects, no nothing, just every amp set up to the best of its abilities to play a lead sound. Here we go. That's it. I can't tell you more than that. I'm done. I can't do more than what I've done in these 9 videos. If you need to know more about each individual amp, but you haven't, wait a second. If you need to know more about each individual amp, then please watch the individual reviews if you haven't done so already. So if you're interested in the Dual Dark or any of these, I have a full between 20 and 30 minute review for each, where we go into the stats and with pedals, without pedals, with compressor, without compressor, all that stuff right there for you to find out. And now I'm going to have to teach, which one is that? Who is that? That's Ben. Hey, Ben.
Hey.
That's Ben. Ben's my student, and I think we're gonna play through the OR15 now, because that's about his size. Ben! Guck mal. Die ganzen Verstärker, wo Orange drauf steht. Welcher gefällt dir am besten? Well, Ben has picked, and Ben wants to play through the Custom Shop 50. Of course, the most expensive one. Das ist auch der teuerste. Du hast, Geschmack hast du. Okay. Well, we're gonna do that now. Du hast überhaupt kein oranges Shirt an.
Ist halt so.
Ist halt so. Thanks for watching. Links below. If you need to know any more, then fuck off, because I can't literally tell you anymore. Okay? This is all I've got. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Neil. Thanks, Charlie. Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Leslie. Bye-bye.
Sleeping by the telephone, hoping you might call someday. Treat me like a toy that's getting boring and you throw me away. I wonder what you're hiding from, wonder what the fuck went wrong. 'Cause once upon a time we were as merry as the day is long.